question when you're ready.
How would you say spring's going for you, Carson?
It's been good. Spring football is really the time to focus on ourselves. Obviously, we have no game, no opponent to prepare for. So, like I said, it's a time to prepare for ourselves. Keep getting better every day.
Yeah, Carson, I guess a year ago, you were looking at spring. Stetson was likely going to be the starter going in next fall. How mentally have you grown over the past year or so, would you say?
Obviously, a big part of that is reps and experience and getting into games. And last year was really big for me. Obviously, Stetson had a great year and went out on top, which was awesome. But, he did really well in certain games. We got up big. I got to, get some experience in a few of those games. So I guess the biggest thing I would say is just having the experience and continuing to grow on that with, further reps and the more practice that we get.
Carson, talking about Stetson, having backed him up, are there things you feel like you've learned from playing behind him, things you saw him do that you feel like can help you this year?
Yeah, I think every quarterback that's ever come through this room, I've been able to learn from, and that goes for even the guys that are in here. Everyone is so different at the quarterback position, and it's such a unique position because there's no one body frame, one body type, or one way that you're supposed to play quarterback. There's so many different things and different aspects of being a quarterback. So I'd say I've taken little bits and pieces from every quarterback that's walked through this room.
How do you view how your spring has gone, and what do you want to show coaches between now and the end of spring?
I thought it's going good. I think the biggest thing is just trying to get better each and every day. Have the right attitude coming out and focused on me and what I can do, physically, mentally, building relationships with teammates. We got a few new guys out there, trying to get to know them better and connect with them on a deeper level. Because, that's really what it comes down to. We're a team, we're a family, and just trying to take that role and keep getting better.
Carson, you've been around for 4 years, and it's been kind of a long ride. Not a lot of guys do that. Is there any part of you that has to fight the whole, I've been here, I've done that, I should be the guy?
No, I wouldn't say that. Every year is individual of itself, and I think every quarterback honestly should feel that way every single year they step into it. Even last year, like with Stetson, he just came off a national championship. Of course, every day I walked out there, I felt like I was the guy, and I think that's the mindset that you have to have at the position of quarterback because there's only one guy out there. So when you get your opportunity, you got to seize it.
Making the change from Coach Monken to Bobo, what's the biggest change that you guys have noticed working with those two directly?
Obviously, they're very separate people. I think every offensive coordinator is very different and brings their own, spark and, calls different plays, calls different things, does things different. Bobo's very energetic, love the way that he's been coaching recently, and I'm excited to keep working with him.
Yeah, Carson, you talk about some of the new receivers, I guess the Mississippi State transfer and the Missouri transfer, how those guys fit in?
They've been doing really good. They work really hard. Obviously, our offense is kind of complex in certain ways, but, they're catching up fast, and they do a lot of extra stuff to try to, catch up and kind of start to fit in. But, they go out there and they work really hard, and they've been making plays all spring.
Carson, when Coach Mark says decision making is the most important thing he wants to see from whoever the quarterback is going to be, what does that mean to you? And part two of that, kind of where do you think you are with the decision making aspect of the job?
Yeah, obviously there comes a lot of things that come with playing a position of quarterback as far as mentally, physically, and then obviously decision making, which would go under the mental aspect. But there's certain things that Bobo wants us to do, and there's certain things within every play that we call, whether it's a check, a change, reading it the right way, and obviously we're going to make mistakes and we're going to mess up, but for me, just trying to separate every play, that no matter what happens on this play, the next play is going to be different, and I got to play it all individually.
Has that been easy for you to do, to kind of, if you make a mistake, to for lack of a better word, flush it and then move on, or is that something you've had to kind of learn over the years?
It's never easy. Obviously you're going to get upset when you do something wrong. You're going to throw interceptions, you're going to throw incompletions. things are going to go wrong, but obviously it's more about how you react to it than that one singular moment and letting it affect you in the future.
You mentioned Coach Bobo. I don't think he worked with you guys a ton last year. What's his voice been like? What's his presence been like for you?
It's been really good, and obviously, you know, him playing the position of quarterback and, you know, doing it and being here, he knows what we're going through, and he connects and relates to us on, you know, that level because he's done it before, and, you know, he's really positive. He does a really good job with the offense of rallying guys and getting guys going for practice, but I'm really excited, like I said, to keep working with him and see how it goes.
Reminder, let Ryan give the microphone to you if you got a question.
You know, looking at you and Brock, what's it been like as far as having that kind of competition, you know, with a guy like that and kind of being pushed when you guys are out there?
Well, I mean, since I've been here, I mean, it's been constant competition since my freshman year. You know, we have a very deep quarterback room, and I think we have deep rooms all over the place. I mean, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, and that's how it should be. I mean, we're at the University of Georgia. I mean, we're one of the best programs in the country, and every position has competition, and I mean, I think that brings the best out of all of us.
You mentioned that even last year, every time you went out there, you felt like you were the guy. Of course, you want your teammates in that offense to feel like you're the guy. And how important do you think it would be, or how advantageous would it be to get this thing settled as quickly as possible?
Honestly, I'm not really worried about anything like that as far as like a decision or something. You know, the coaches are going to do what they do, and all I can worry about is what I control every single day at practice. You know, going out there, practicing my butt off, working out, watching film, making sure that I'm getting better every day. Because if I start to focus on other things, you know, it could tell me off the wrong direction. So just focus on myself.
Yeah, Carson, you mentioned that how you react to adversity is kind of the most important thing. Do you feel you react to incompletions, interceptions differently or better at this point than maybe you did earlier in your college career?
Oh, 100%. I was really bad at it. I mean, sometimes I still, you know, still get pretty upset, but I think I've learned how to, you know, tone it down in a sense and kind of figure out, you know, it's cool. Like, breathe it out, next play mentality always. And I think it's a lot easier to do in a game, you know, because if you make a mistake, you go off the field, you have time to think about it. In practice, it's like you make a mistake, well, you got the next play. So I think that really helps, though, like learning how to move on really fast, take a deep breath, get it out your head, next play.
Carson, what's it been like the last 3 years? You know, you're Stetson, JT, everybody. When you transition into that from being, you know, the starter in high school, winning state championships, what's it like to take a step back and sit behind other guys and wait?
Well, obviously, I mean, it's really difficult, and I think it's difficult for anybody when you come out of high school, and it really everybody that has come here that's had to sit. I mean, we're all guys. I mean, 4-star, 5-star guys here. I mean, we've got a ton of them, as you guys know, but there's been a lot of guys that have had to sit, and I'm sure everyone would agree with me that it's very difficult. And you know, you build a mindset of like, okay, like I'm gonna wait my turn and whatever, but like now it's finally time, so it's like you got to start to remember kind of what you were, what you did in high school, like that mindset of like I'm the guy, you know, like you got to believe that.
Carson, obviously we don't see the scrimmages, but there were a lot of people that were there. They said you got off to a flaming start, I guess, pretty hot, and then things didn't go as well. Can you kind of encapsulate what happened for you Saturday?
Yeah, you know, I thought the scrimmage went really well. You know, every scrimmage there's always some good, bad things. You know, a little bit of nerves, going out, practicing on the field in Sanford Stadium for the first time. But we did get off to a hot start. You know, obviously there's always going to be mistakes, like I've said, like especially in the first scrimmage. I mean, everyone is going to mess up. You know, I had a few, but you know, learning from that and just trying to finish strong at the end. You know, I thought it went really well.
Following up, is it hard practicing against your defense? I mean, do they kind of seem like they kind of know what's going on from what I've seen in some of the scrimmages?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, our defense is one of the best in the country, and I think that's only going to benefit us in the long run. And going up against them every day, and then going into a game, and you know, we play in the SEC. I mean, it's the top level competition. So going against one of the best defenses in the country is definitely going to only benefit us in the future.
You talked about how much you've gotten to grow in this spring. Where have you seen Brock and Gunnar grow as well?
For both of them, I think Brock has taken like a big step as far as like his mental aspect of the game. You know, he asks lots of questions. You know, he's very in tune, and we've always been like that. You know, I ask him questions, he asks me questions. We kind of bounce back and forth off of each other of different plays or different reads, or like what would you do on this, what would you do on that. But and then for Gunnar, same thing. You know, he's still the young gun in the building, but just trying to learn off of each other and constantly kind of going in circles of asking questions to each other. What would you do here and what would you do there? So
Carson, there's some teams where the quarterback may need to carry
carry the offense, carry the team is that important. At Georgia, how important is the starting quarterback going to be this year, considering all the talent that's around on both sides of the ball?
I mean, I think the quarterback is one of the most important positions in all of sports, obviously. And I think on any team, it's always going to be an important position because, you know, obviously guys have to trust in you. They have to rally behind you. Usually the quarterback is, you know, the leader figure. I mean, some teams not, but most of the time, yes, like their eyes are on you. So it's very important to, you know, do things the right way and, you know, lead the right way.
Got time for 2 more questions?
Yeah, Carson, Stetson's journey was obviously a little bit different, but did you ever talk to him about just, like you said, what it's like to wait your turn, having to wait behind other guys, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've had plenty of conversations, and even in the past, I mean, couple months, like whenever he's been back, you know, I've talked to him about what's it been like on his journey, and I think the biggest thing about him is how well he was able to handle adversity and, you know, being counted out and having to sit and wait. And I mean, it's the prime example. I don't think that there is a better example of sitting and waiting and being counted out and then finally coming to an end and doing what he did, winning 2 national championships. So obviously I've learned a lot from him.
By the time this spring is done, what do you hope you've showed the coaches, your teammates, just in this spring session?
Just that I can lead and that I care. Like, you know, that I care about this place and I care about this program and I care about my teammates. And just show that I can do it. You know, that I can get it done, and that really at the end of the day, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna be myself. And that's the, you know, least that I can do is just be me and compete and have fun.
Carson?